National Commissioner, Chairman of IPAC, and other.
It is my pleasure to welcome you all to our third regular consultative meeting for this year. Since our last meeting on 10th May 2022, there have been several developments, among which are the Ekiti and Osun governorship elections, the conduct of primaries by political parties for the 2023 general election, the publication of the final list of candidates sponsored by political parties for the election, and the official commencement of electioneering campaign, and the suspension of the continuous voter registration exercise as provided by law. Already, we are at the most critical stage in the implementation of the activities in the timetable and schedule of activities for the general election. Working with political parties and other stakeholders, the Commission has so far successfully implemented 9 out of 14 activities for the general election. We are also making a steady progress in other critical areas of preparation for the election, including the provision of sensitive and non-sensitive materials, the recruitment of staff, and planning for the movement of personnel and materials for the election. Only last week, we commenced the training of master trainers on election technology to ensure a seamless process. Beginning from tomorrow, we will commence the same training at zonal level and subsequently train all the ad hoc staff for the 176,846 polling units nationwide. On this note, let me once again reassure Nigerians that there is no going back on the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, for voter accreditation. There is no going back on the transmission of results on the INEC result viewing portal in real time on election day. There will be no incident form that enables ineligible persons to vote using other people's permanent voters' cards during elections. We are committed to ensuring that the 2023 general election is transparent and credible, reflecting the will of the Nigerian people. The critical foundation for credible election is the voters' register. You may recall that the CVR, which started on the 28th of June 2021, lasted for 13 consecutive months until its suspension on 31st July 2022. During that period, the Commission gave Nigerians regular weekly update showing the progress of the exercise nationwide, including analysis of the distribution of voters by age, occupation, gender, and disability for our planning purposes and for public information. At the end of the exercise, 12,298,944 Nigerians successfully completed the registration as new voters. All along, we have repeatedly assured Nigerians that our process of cleaning up the register is robust. After a rigorous cleaning up of the data using the automated biometric identification system, a total of 2,780,756, or 26% of new voters, 22.6% of new voters were identified as ineligible registrants and invalidated from the record. Among them, double and multiple registrants, underaged persons, and outrightly fake registrations that failed to meet our business rules. Consequently, the number of valid registrations post-ABIS is now 9,518,188. In terms of demographic distribution, 7.2 million new voters, or 76.5%, are young people between the ages of 18 and 34 years, while there is a slightly higher number of female, that is 4.8 million or 50.82%, than male, 4.6 million or 49.18% voters. In terms of occupation, 3.8 million or 40.8% are students. Hard copies giving the full details of the distribution of the new voters are included in your folders for this meeting. The soft copy has already been uploaded to the Commission's website and social media platforms. The Commission deployed thousands of diligent staff for the CVR exercise, and the vast majority of them discharged their duties conscientiously. Unfortunately, a few of them did not. The fictitious registrations were carried out by some of our registration officers involved in the field exercise and could easily be traced. Each registration machine is operated using an access code tied to a dedicated email assigned to a staff. There is therefore an audit trail that gives the total number of persons registered by each official involved in the registration exercise. In some cases, some of them made as many as 40 attempts or more to register one fake voter, and yet were able to detect the shenanigans. As a result, the Commission has so far identified 23 registration officers involved in this unethical conduct, and disciplinary action against this staff has commenced. We shall continue to protect the integrity of our voters' register. It is pivotal to credible elections. It is also a national asset and easily the largest database of citizens in Africa and one of the largest in the world. The 9.5 million new voters have been added to the existing register of 84,004,084 voters. The preliminary register of voters in Nigeria now stands at 93,522,272. It is preliminary because Section 19, subsections 1 and 2 of the Electoral Act requires the Commission to display the hard copies of the register of voters for each registration area or ward and local government area, and simultaneously publish the entire register on the Commission's website for a period of 2 weeks for scrutiny, claims, and objections by citizens, not later than 90 days to a general election. Accordingly, in the next few days, the Commission will print 9.3 million pages of the register. The hard copy will be displayed for each of the 8,809 registration areas or wards and 774 local government areas nationwide, while the entire register will be published on our website for claims and objections as required by law. The display of the fiscal register will take place at the designated centers from Saturday 12th to Friday 25th November 2022. Further details, including the procedure for filing claims and objections, will be released by the Commission next week. I would like to appeal to all Nigerians to seize the opportunity of the display to scrutinize the list and help us to clean it up further so that the final register of voters for the 2023 general election can be compiled and published. The Commission is also working hard to ensure the completion of printing of the remaining PVCs for new voters, as well as those that applied for transfer or the replacement of their lost or damaged cards. In the coming days, we'll also inform Nigerians of the detailed plan to ensure a seamless collection of the PVCs. We are aware that Nigerians expect an improvement in the procedure for PVC collection. Since the end of the CVR in July this year, we have been working to ensure that citizens have a pleasant experience when they come to collect their PVCs. Beyond the voters' register and the compilation and the presentation of the PVCs, the Commission has released the timetable and schedule of activities for the 3 off-cycle governorship elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. The 3 elections will now hold on Saturday, 11th November 2022. We had to release the timetable yesterday because under the new Electoral Act, the first activity is the publication of the notice for the election. And the law requires that that should be done not later than 360 days before the date fixed for the election. So on November the 14th, we'll publish the statutory notice for the conduct of off-cycle elections in these 3 states, not later than 90 days before the election. Again, hard copies of the timetable are included in your folders for this meeting and also already published on our website and social media platforms. Last week, the Commission cautioned political parties, candidates and their supporters to eschew violence during the electioneering campaign. The statement was necessary against the background of clashes among supporters of different political parties, including allegations of denial of access to public facilities and the destruction of billboards and other outdoor campaign materials by act of thuggery. The campaigns have just begun. As party leaders, you should remain committed to peaceful electioneering. We'll continue to work together to remove encumbrances to the right of parties and candidates to freely canvass for the support of the electorate. The Commission will continue to track the campaigns and will not hesitate to initiate the process of prosecution of violators as provided by law. It is clear to the Commission that as the general election approaches, there will be need to meet more frequently with leaders of political parties. We hope that in spite of your campaign activities, you will oblige us. In fact, we plan to invite you very soon for a discussion on political rallies and the issue of campaign finance, including the limits on expenses set by the Commission, which the law says it should be done in consultation with the political parties. So if we invite you again, maybe as early as next week, please oblige us in spite of your busy campaign schedules. We are also going to invite you next week to inspect samples of the materials to be used for the general election as required by Section 42 of the Electoral Act. So kindly oblige us. We'll send letters of invitation to all the political parties as required by law, and the inspection will take place in this hall so that thereafter we can speedily commence the process of printing over 570 million ballot papers for the 2023 general election. By the time you add the result sheets and other forms and envelopes that we are going to print, we'll print close to 1 billion ballot papers, result sheets, and other materials. So the earlier we start this, the better. And from today, we only have 4 months and 1 day to the next general election. So on this note, I want to thank our distinguished party leaders as chairman, as party leaders, and I have seen 5 presidential candidates already in this hall. So I welcome you to this meeting, and I thank you all, and God.
I am confident that, as it has always been in the past, IPAC and the INEC will be coming away from this meeting better informed and more prepared to face the onerous historical challenge of conducting credible, transparent, and acceptable elections in 2023. Going further, I wish to firstly reiterate the continual commitment of IPAC to the long-standing cooperation and mutually beneficial relationship between us and the INEC. I want to use this occasion to also reaffirm the confidence of IPAC in the leadership of INEC for its consistent demonstration of diligence and common zeal and patriotism in the pursuit of the agency's statutory mandate. On the basis of our evaluation that INEC has been well on track, the leadership of IPAC additionally wishes to use this occasion to condemn the emerging antics and smear campaign by certain shadowy and cowardly figures who clearly have embarked on the treacherous and unpatriotic conspiracy of reversing the outstanding landmarks the INEC has recorded in recent years in the annals of the nation's electoral history. To us in IPAC, The real object of the darts of venom being directed at the person of the chairman and institution of the INEC are merely a decoy. The real target of the machinations is the circumvention of the deployment of the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, the electronic transfer of results, and the other security devices INEC has deftly and painstakingly put in place to enhance the integrity of the electoral process. The spurious allegations they are orchestrating, especially in the online platforms, are part of the strategies to prepare the grounds for their planned onslaught to achieve their nefarious goal within legal frameworks. It is also aimed at blackmailing and intimidating Professor Mahmoud Yakubu to surrender by compromising the stance of the Commission on the strident, airtight security measure against the maladies of rigging and other electoral malpractices that had perennially tarnished the integrity of elections in the country in the past. However, we believe that they will not have their way, no matter their desperation, and whatever their pranks and machinations. The use of technology in the conduct of elections in Nigeria has become sacrosanct and fait accompli. Every player in the country's power game must come to terms with the new reality that they can no longer rig elections brazenly and with impunity. Mr. Chairman, sir, you can count on the usual support of IPAC, and as it is, the goodwill and backing of most citizens of the country in the present circumstance. We urge you to remain steadfast and strong in the consciousness that you have your hard-earned reputation to protect, that the eyes of the entire nation and indeed the wider global community are keenly focused on you. At the end of the day, your choice on the issues currently at stake will go far in defining your legacy, long after our generation. In other words, history beckons on you. May the Almighty God guide and provide you with the needed strength and wisdom to weather the storm. Amen. Mr. Chairman, the IPAC will also want to use this occasion to express concern on the emerging negative signals against peaceful, credible conduct of 2023 general elections. These include the brazen breach of the provisions of the Electoral Act and other extant laws on the use of money with impunity during the last off-season governorship elections in Anambra, Ekiti, and Osun states. Also, IPAC leadership has noted the spikes in the use of divisive languages and hate speeches by several chieftains and spokespersons of some of the political parties in the mass media and at political rallies. We want to assure you that the reprehensible, irresponsible, and reckless utterances which are already heating up the polity with the potential of leading to the even more dangerous dimensions of igniting mutual hate, animosity, and violence along the nation's existing tenuous fault lines is being addressed by IPAC. Sooner than later, our effort in ensuring decency and issue-based campaigns will manifest in the conduct of our members, the political parties, and candidates, as well as their spokesperson. To deepen the roots of democracy, good governance, violence in all its ramifications must be uprooted from the political space. We are in this regard calling on the nation's security agencies and other relevant bodies to gear up in the performance of their statutory responsibilities professionally and objectively. Mr. Chairman, some obnoxious and draconian laws by states and LGA elected governors and local government authorities have been introduced. We have also observed that there have been plethora of litigations, and they are happening so close to the elections. We are also worried that the terror alert from external sources targeted at who are largely targeted at political space may not augur well for the peaceful elections and all-inclusive elections that we expect the Commission to deliver to the nation. We are hereby calling on the Commission to take extra precautions, extra measures to ensure that some of these laws being introduced by states and local government and the litigations that are all over the place, as a result of the implementation of the Electoral Act, should be minimized. Mr. Chairman, we want to thank you very much for giving us this opportunity, and we'll continue to support you as we have